Now, over recent days, there's been a little conversation about whether or not there's going to be a return to the mining tax, because, we'll come up with a new packaging for it, but a super profits tax on the mining industry, the gas industry. And Matt Canavan, you have really belled the cat here, because there's one state in particular that would be absolutely whacked by that, and it's the state that's only recently fallen in love with the Labor Party, and that's Western Australia.
Exactly right here, Paul. One thing that's not been commented on much, if we do raise such a tax, and I don't know, I've never seen a tax help lower prices. That seems to be the idea here. I don't know how that's going to work. But if we do that, this tax will fall almost all, or a big chunk of it, almost half of it, will fall in Western Australia, where a big part of it, more than half of our gas is produced. And that means they don't have a price crisis over there. They don't have an energy crisis. They've got a good energy policy. They haven't gone mad on renewables. They've got lots of gas. They've still got some coal-fired power stations running. And so they will be taxed to help bail out the stupid energy policies of Dan Andrews and Matt Kean in Eastern Australia. How is that fair at all? And what a slap in the face to the people of Perth, who only 6 months ago installed Anthony Albanese as Prime Minister. I get the feeling sometimes watching Anthony Albanese that he thinks he's been elected with some kind of landslide historic mandate to rule. He has a one-seat majority. He was elected with the lowest primary vote from Labor since 1910, and it was only because the people of Perth were in love with Mark McGowan, not Anthony Albanese, that Anthony Albanese is Prime Minister. So you'd think he might reflect on that a little bit and think about it, because if he does whack them in the face here with his tax, before you know it, they might whack back.
Nicholas, the other way this thing gets packaged, which is these companies are making too much money. This is the cream off the top that we're talking about. But I think that our dear friend here has actually noticed a real problem here, which is that this all works well on one side of the country and is terrible on the other side of the country.
Well, the fact is these companies are making absolutely super profits at the moment. They were profitable when, gas was at $3 a gigajoule, and now they're making massive profits when it's at $30 a gigajoule. And those higher prices are because there's a war going on in Europe. So they are making super profits off the back of the war going on in Europe. And that's having consequences for us here in Australia, with high energy prices. So, as we've seen happen in other countries, I think there's a debate to be had about whether you would consider a temporary tax that then could be used to offset prices for the rest of us. I think this is a debate we need to have. I'm not saying I'm in favour of it, but I think there's definitely a debate to be had.
You've got more chance with a special 1% Medicare levy for the NDIS. That's the one I reckon happens between now and the next election.
Not only, Paul, would this be the GST on steroids for WA, it would also massively impact our sovereign risk. And I don't know why we want to apparently rush towards a South American resources policy, because that's where we're going. I hear that from the gas industry, from the coal industry, from the general mining sector all the time, that people aren't investing here anymore because they don't know what a government's going to do on the next day. That's why Chile and Brazil and Argentina have never quite reached the heights of Australia's mining sector, despite having similar resources. Maybe it's just a cunning plan to help the Socceroos play better at the World Cup. If we have South American resources policy, maybe we play like South Americans too.
By the way, I'm sorry. Look, I won't make this point every night between now and the end of that tournament. I stand by everything I've said about the Qatari World Cup, particularly the workers.
I'm not allowed to mention it, am I?
Well, no. I'll just say this, all right? ESPN's got a documentary coming up about this very subject, all right? So keep your eyes peeled, have a look at it on Foxtel, KO and all the rest of it, and I think you may end up on my side of things. I do appreciate it. Thank you, lads. Do appreciate it. You can mention it any time you want. It's free speech. Paul. We don't shut it down. We're not lefties. We just have to play ads, unlike the lefties. All right, thank you, mate.